Have you ever felt like you were just too much, too emotional, too sensitive, too expressive, too needy, too talkative? So you started shrinking parts of yourself, holding back your thoughts, quieting your emotions, trying to be easier for others to handle? For many people, the fear of being too much doesn't come from nowhere. It's something that slowly develops over time. Many people grow up hearing messages about their emotions without even realizing it. Maybe someone said things like, "You're overreacting. You're too sensitive. Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" Over time, these experiences can teach someone that their emotions are inconvenient or overwhelming to others, so the brain begins to adapt. Instead of expressing feelings openly, the person learns to minimize them. Instead of speaking freely, they start filtering everything they say. Instead of being authentic, they start asking themselves one quiet question before almost every interaction. Am I being too much right now? What this pattern looks like. The fear of being too much can show up in everyday life in subtle ways. Someone might notice themselves, holding back emotions so they don't overwhelm others, overanalyzing messages or conversations, apologizing for expressing feelings, avoiding asking for support because they don't want to be a burden, feeling anxious about being misunderstood. From the outside, these people often appear calm, easygoing, and low maintenance. But internally, they may constantly worry about how others perceive them. Why this pattern develops. In psychology, this pattern is often connected to emotional experiences earlier in life. When a person repeatedly feels dismissed, criticized, or misunderstood for expressing emotions, the brain begins to associate emotional expression with rejection. The nervous system learns something important. If I show too much of myself, I might lose connection. So, the person adapts. They soften their opinions, they downplay their feelings, they make themselves easier for others to handle, not because they are weak, but because their brain learned that belonging sometimes required self-protection. The hidden cost. While this pattern can help someone avoid conflict or rejection, it can also come with a quiet cost. Someone who constantly worries about being too much may struggle to feel fully known by others. They may feel like parts of themselves are hidden. Over time, this can create loneliness even when surrounded by people, because connection requires authenticity, and authenticity becomes difficult when someone feels they must constantly shrink themselves. Relearning emotional safety. Healing from the fear of being too much often begins with a simple realization. Your emotions are not the problem. Emotions are information. They are signals that tell us something important about our experiences, needs, and boundaries. Learning to express them in healthy ways is part of emotional growth, not something that needs to be suppressed. A different perspective. Instead of asking, "Am I too much?" it can help to ask a different question. Am I in an environment where my emotions are respected? Because the truth is, the right relationships do not require someone to shrink themselves in order to be accepted. Healthy relationships make space for honesty, vulnerability, and emotional expression. If you have ever felt like you were too much, you are not alone. Many people carry that belief quietly without realizing where it came from. But being expressive, thoughtful, emotional, and passionate are not flaws. They are human qualities. The goal is not to become smaller so others feel comfortable. The goal is to find environments where you can exist fully without feeling like you have to hide parts of yourself, because you were never meant to live life in pieces. You are meant to be seen as a whole person. A gentle mind. You are worthy. You are loved. You are enough.